Hello again, my beloveds. Here I am in my office once again at home and thinking about all of you and hoping that you are keeping well, staying safe. Once again, I have a poem for you today, a poem by a poet named David Whyte. Many of you may know him, and I love many of his poems. This one especially touched me because it's concerning something that I've been giving a lot of thought to these days, and that is the subject of faith. Where is our faith right now? What do we put our faith in? How do we hold on to any faith that we have or create faith for ourselves? So here's this poem by David Whyte called Faith. I want to write about faith, about way the moon rises over cold snow night after night. Faithful even as it fades from fullness, slowly becoming that last curving and impossible sliver of light before the final darkness. But I have no faith myself. I refuse it even the smallest entry. Let this then, my small poem, like a new moon, slender and barely open, be the first prayer that opens me to faith. I love this idea of faith in a poem, like a new moon, slender and barely open. And I do feel as though for many of us, our faith right now is that slim. It's a shred that we are trying to hold on to, if we ever even had it at all. It makes me think about prayer too. We've been talking about that in our prayer circle on Tuesday nights. How do we pray? To whom do we pray? When have we ever prayed? And what have we prayed for? How desperate, how hopeful, how devoted could our prayer be? I do think that poetry is an opening to faith, or it can be. I know it is for me. I have subscribed to a couple of different websites that send me a poem every day, and sometimes those poems speak to me so deeply. And if you are interested in knowing those websites, email me. I'll send them to you. It's a lovely thing. It's a tiny, lovely gift to receive a poem in the day, every morning in your email. I'm noticing other signs of spring that give me hope and faith in the ending of all of this dark time and some glimmer of light ahead. Crocuses popping up their heads, forsythia blooming, bird song, birds returning that we haven't heard for so long, children's voices, children's laughter, the joy in my puppy going out for a walk and just dancing circles, so happy to be outside. Singing. I know many of us are enjoying singing now, whether we're singing out in our street or singing online, just hearing our own voices and each other's voices. That also, for me, that's something to hold on to. And seeing faces on Zoom, this wonderful technology that we're all learning to use, this opportunity that we have to be together, to connect, to look deeply into each other's eyes, to beam our love toward each other. It's so important right now. And then, of course, all of the hard work that our congregation is continuing to do. And some of that hard work is the hard work of loving each other, of staying connected to each other. Not that it is hard to remember how much we love each other, but sometimes reaching out to make that phone call, to send that email, it can feel a little bit hard. But I encourage you to do it. We really need each other, every one of us, the extroverts and the introverts. We're all finding that we need these connections with each other, and that those connections help us hold on to any kind of faith that we might have. Let me read this poem to you one more time. This is Faith, again, by David White. I want to write about faith, about the way the moon rises over cold snow night after night, faithful even as it fades from fullness, slowly becoming that last curving and impossible sliver of light before the final darkness. But I have no faith myself. I refuse it even the smallest entry. Let this then, my small poem, like a new moon, slender and barely open, be the first prayer that opens me to faith. May you find a way to keep a sliver open to faith in your life in this time, knowing that you are loved, you are cared about, you are thought about moment to moment in my life and in all of our lives. Blessed be. Amen.